Okay, Kev, final thing I would like to get your opinion on, my friend. Always a pleasure catching up with you. I'm sure we'll speak before February the 27th. Final thing I'd like to get your opinion on is the new four kings, so to speak. The four princes, I think I'm going to call them from now on, down at lightweight.
Right.
Devin Haney, Javonte Davis, Teofimo Lopez, and Ryan Garcia. God, I almost forgot the fourth one then.
I know. I was nearly going to pass that out there to you.
What do you make of that exciting blend of talent down at 135 pound? Brilliant for the sport.
I tell you what, there's a couple of divisions that are really humming at the moment, and 135 is one, and I think 140 is a pretty exciting division as well. And a lot of the guys at 135 will end up being in 140. I'm looking forward to seeing those fights, and it looks like they're all going to happen. Which makes it even more exciting. It's unlike with Bud Crawford and Errol Spence, that's almost reminiscent to Pacquiao Mayweather. We may have to wait 6 years until they both pass their best before they ever fight. I'm liking that division. I think there's some spectacular talent. There's some spectacular power. And there's a huge for the real fans. They can see that something really special is happening in the 135 pound, 140 pound division at the moment.
Talking about Ryan Garcia, his win over Luke Campbell to start off the year on DAZN. How impressed were you with his performance?
Look, I thought it was a terrific performance. A lot of people think, obviously he got clipped with a shot that he got careless. And some people are very critical. Well, it wasn't that good of a performance because you actually got dropped during the fight. If you hadn't got dropped and still closed the show out like you did, then it would have been an A+ spectacular performance. But I think that the fact that he did get knocked down and then got back up in the fashion that he did, cleared almost immediately, and then finished the round powerful and coming forward and aggressive, shows us the sort of fighter that he is. He is getting better every single time, as a lot of these young fighters in that division are getting better. I think the exciting thing, and the real interesting thing is when you line those four guys up together, I think any one of them can win on any given night. We have some great skill. They've all got decent power, and they all have the tremendous self-belief in their abilities, and they all have that stardom X factor, which is very, very rare to have four guys in one division, all very similar.
If you could make one fight out of those four, what fight would you make?
I'd like to see the four names put in a hat and randomly drawn out.
I'm happy with that. Maybe that's something I'm due to catch up with Callus Owland tomorrow, so maybe that's something that I can suggest to him for the next series of WBSS.
That might be, gosh, you can imagine that. That'll never ever happen.
I think somebody would need to come with a pretty big bag of money for that to happen.
Yes, I know. But I tell you what, look, we all saw Lopez's performance against Lomachenko,
which you called, by the way. You were one of the few.
Yeah, I know. Thank you very much for. I was waiting for you to say that. I was just about to pat myself on the back, but you beat me to it.
Always look after you, Kev.
Thank you, mate. Look, we know he's got great boxing skill. We also know he's got good power. It's just like he was content in the first 7 rounds in that fight just to completely outbox Lomachenko. I'd like to see any of those guys fight each other, mate. Devin Haney's a good fighter, skillful guy.
You would have heard a lot about him as well through the grapevine in Vegas, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's for years we've heard about him, about Devon. He's been a talent for a long time. For a long time, he was one of those guys that, they had him wrapped up and they kept him under cotton wool. But he was, at an early age, sparring with Mayweather and being competitive, and so you knew that he was going to have a great career. You knew he was going to be skillful. When you're spending a lot of time with people like that, it's going to brush off. I really liked Garcia's performance. I like the fact that he tries to knock your friggin' head off. He has, as we said before, they all have decent power. He has freakish power for that weight division. And, even before the body shot against Campbell, the head combinations that spun him right round at the end of one round. If there was another 10 seconds left in the round, that was game over. We've never seen anyone do that to Luke Campbell. So and I'm looking at Garcia, and he's getting better every single time, and he's a long way away from the finished product. He could be the most exciting guy in that division. But what gives all the other guys hope is the fact that he was sat on his backside, and they look at that, they go, okay, so his chin, he can be knocked down. So it just leaves a little question mark. But that's what makes it exciting and creates the buzz and suspense around that division.
And he's kind of.
But whoever ends up fighting each other, one thing that they're going to be getting paid very, very handsomely, those boys.
I'm sure they certainly will. Just to expand on that with Ryan Garcia, and indeed a lot of the other guys in that division, they all have that kind of that brash arrogance that you have as a young fighter coming through, unbeaten, momentum behind you, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Yes, and I'll tell you what I really liked, and I saw something. It was on one of the sites, and obviously, speaking to you on Boxing Social, I would never mention another site. Hey, but no, there was some footage after the fight outside. You may have seen it, where Garcia, away from all the arrogance on the TV and in front of the media, and him and his family were hugging with masks on, obviously, Campbell's family. So I thought that was pretty classy. It sort of showed that there's a little bit more to him than what's been portrayed to the public and to the media.
Yeah, indeed. I was down at the gym yesterday actually with Shane McGuigan, who trains Luke Campbell, of course, and he said that that there's the Instagram Ryan Garcia, and then there's very much the real life Ryan Garcia. But he did say,
right,
if you're you're not an Instagram boxer, if you're able to get up from that shot at 2, because he got up at 2 unbelievably and fire back at Olympic gold medalist, which is, as you say, I'm with you, Kev. I feel that
yes,
that part of the performance makes him, particularly at that stage of his career, showing that willingness to go back into the go back straight into the fire after that is worth its weight in gold at that stage of your career.
Yes, 100%. And interesting for Shane to say that. Look, and I thought Shane had Luke Campbell in great shape for that fight. You could, and Shane's done a great job with him. So, and I'm sure they were very confident coming into that fight.
They certainly were. They were very confident about a minute and a half into the second round. Final one, Kev, before I let you go, we've spoken about the lightweights. Now, one of the main talking points after that fight has been Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, another fighter who has not based himself in Las Vegas, but is no stranger to Las Vegas and sparring over there. What do you make to that fight if that was to happen?
What a name to call out, especially on the back of his last performance. Mm-hmm. Devastating knockout. One of the best knockouts of the year. That's a fight that would whet the appetite of not just boxing fans, but sporting fans. Like there's a lot of firepower in that fight, and I don't know the history between the guys. Maybe because I don't spend that much time on social media, but I'm sure that it's been building up for a long time. But it's a big name for him to call out. It'll be interesting to see if that fight actually takes place, because as we know, Tank can punch.
He certainly can. Who if that fight was made next, going off the back of their last performances, if you had, we'll do what we usually do. We usually bet a Las Vegas beer. Who would you bet it on?
When are we going to get? I just want to know before I have this bet for this Las Vegas beer. When am I going to get this Las Vegas beer?
The next time I'm in Vegas, as soon as Vegas opens up, I'll be there.
Hey, look, I really like Ryan Garcia. I like the fact that he's still evolving. I think he's going to be a special talent. I really do.
Okay, all right. Well, it just reminded me, I owe you a beer anyway because I picked Lomachenko over Lopez. You, for the second time this interview, I'll remind you again, you picked Teofimo Lopez to win that fight, so well done you.
All right.
I think that's about it, Kev. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. I will speak to you again before the 27th of February, just to get a final update before Joseph Parker versus Junior Farr. But always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Rob, you're one of my most favorite interviewers in the whole wide world, and I love being on with you on Boxing Social. One of the top two, and I can't tell you who the other one is because he doesn't know. And I don't know, but I keep that open so that people can say, "Was I the other one?" Yeah, of course you were.
Well, always a pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you soon, mate.
All right, brother.